Hello, I am Ryan, the GM of StarFinder, the Fragments of Eternity, Session 4. It is the 22nd of October, and here are the players.
Hola, I'm Olka. I play Emmelyn, who is a Lashanta pilot.
Hello, I am Nico. I am playing the Vest Captain named Zora.
I am Alex. I play Nix5, the android mechanic.
Some witty remark, I am standing in for Lyko's place, played by Colin. He will be joining us shortly. Hashtag Callum is precious. Smash all of the like buttons. So, who remembers what happened last time?
There's trippy brain shit.
Yeah, there's trippy brain psychic attacks.
Such rampant speculation.
We thought we were in a field,
Yeah.
a forest. Then we were other places. Emmelyn saw herself as a small child.
Yeah, I cried, I screamed. There was a lot of horrible things.
Very
Standard
emotional.
Monday
Lots of
night,
emotion.
really.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cried. Need to sort that.
Well, we'll get there.
And we managed to get out of that by
Indeed.
various combinations of meditation and punching.
It was various combinations of exactly that.
Through various one-sided conversation with Atlas, we have decided to.
I honestly thought you just called her Atlas there, and I'm like, God, that's awesome. I am no longer Alice, I am Atlas!
I'm Atlas the Titan.
Amazing.
But yeah, we've now decided to try and help her get into a storage unit, self-sustaining storage unit of sorts that will help her survive on her own. And
You sound so
AI
confident.
senses.
A mobile housing unit.
Yes,
Yeah. The mobile housing unit.
that's the one. Thank you.
You're welcome. Amazing. Wonderful. 1 second. Excuse me. I might mute a couple of times because I've got a bit of a cough coming on.
I know that pain. There may be some of that here as well.
It's fine. We'll all suffer through
Yeah. I'm basically coughing the entire time.
it. Yay! Go team. Right, okay. So I believe I left you guys with a dramatic decision. So yeah, I believe Alice's last few lines were, and people obviously listening in, by people I mean Nick, can then
Hi, Nick.
hello
Hi,
Nick. We can then obviously correct me when I get it wrong, but Alice said that we need to start trusting each other. You have trusted me so far getting here, now I think it's time I trusted you. To the left, aka the anti-clockwise direction of the outer ring, is going to take you to the mobile housing unit that I require before the power dies in this station, and to the right is the source of all the shudders. And then both of the airlock doors hiss and open, and she's kind of just standing there with her hands out to either door. What do you do, Lyko? I just wait to see what the others do. Okay.
I feel like Zora kind of just put a hand on his head and kind of shake it a bit. Just feel like, well, I did say that I would help you, and I guess my word is my word. So we'll get you to your housing unit first. I'd kind of gesture towards the other two, like asking for their opinion, as if to get their opinion.
Implying, please, if you
Yes,
have any
implying
objections, speak
opinion.
now.
I think Nick simply nods to that.
I think
He'll
I
follow the captain's lead.
shrug and go, fine. I suppose we can go that way. I'd like to get out of here pretty soon, though. Pretty quickly.
As soon as Zora had started to agree, she got the housing unit first. You actually see Alice smile for the first time, or kind of properly, and and in not in a kind of creepy flickering and has a different emotion kind of way, but like almost like actually smile. And she's like, awesome, and then just like flickers off.
I think I would do like a Veskian equivalent to an eye roll.
And you know what I'm going to say, Nico? You hear them scream.
Yeah. Very loudly.
Yeah. Right, okay. So, you are now standing in the T-junction. Behind you is the, so what was it, several hours I think I said of climbing through various nonsense, dragging all the equipment and crap. Also, I'd like to address the fact that something that we never did during the descriptive phase for like Zora.
Mhm.
Do you want to describe the thing that is following you constantly around your head that you've never described that you should probably describe to them?
Yeah, I should probably mention I've got like as dark as a black hole, crystalline thing floating above my head at all times. It's doing its glowy thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I think the term is like a mote. Like it's a mote of energy
Yeah,
that floats
stellar
around
mote.
like near Zora's head at all times. People that have worked with Zora for a long time will know this is the thing that Zora coats himself in. Like he basically just makes contact with it and it becomes armor. Like kind of abyssal dark armor. It's part of the Solarian kind of power set. So it's just something we never mentioned before but is always following Zora. So we figured we should probably mention it since when we start talking about it down the line and you're like, wait, what? You've had this whole... what?
Yeah, I did forget to mention it in my description. It's a pretty big deal, I suppose.
Yeah, it's kind of your entire class. Like, it's no biggie. The other thing that we need to mention as well is the random piece of welding equipment that obviously our engineer has pushed through air vents and ducts and smashed through windows and yeah. Just things that you're carrying. Very, very obviously visual components,
Huge industrial backpack.
Yep.
Yeah.
All good stuff. So yeah, you're in this corridor. You've passed the kind of decontamination-y bit, and you're in that T-junction. Both of the doors are open, and you're heading left or right. Left is the mobile housing unit. Right is the shutters.
We're heading towards the mobile housing unit by the sounds of it.
Cool. Did Olka actually by that Olka I mean did Emmelyn weigh in on her choice with Alice? I don't know. Maybe I just totally missed that.
Yeah, she just shrugged and said, "Well, okay."
Yeah, like
Suppose.
Captain made a decision. Done. Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So yeah, who's going first? Lyko says he's going to hang back and just see what you guys do.
That works, shy so and so.
It's kind of in character, right? I'll protect the rear, Captain. So there you go, sorted. He's going to watch the way you came in, keep it secure.
I guess Nix has been like kind of the one with the best gist of the place so far. So
Yeah.
probably.
He says convincingly.
I'll take the lead. I suppose I'm going to be the most useful for the housing unit anyway.
Sure.
Yeah. And head down the line.
Watch his back.
Which means,
I'm firmly behind the vent.
yep, you are the last one in the little chain of 3 people. Enjoy being picked off first in every horror movie.
As I walk down the corridor thinking I'm talking to the party as they...
As they're all gone. They turn around, shrug, carry on anyway. Things to also cover. Lyko has perfect dark vision as well, by the way, which is hilarious for the session where he just feels up a door in the dark. Oh yeah, I forget. Opening my eyes. Of course! I mean, we're gonna stumble over.
torches.
Wait, I did already. I covered it already.
Was that on record?
Yeah, I think I did. Or if not, everybody has torches on their personal comm sheets, which is hilarious. But I mean, I covered that with Nick in
Smartphone's
person,
great.
so we were sorted.
Oh, good.
But yeah, so as I said, I expect us to stumble a bit over certain mechanics that way as we go forward. We'll just assume things happened slightly more efficiently in the past, and that's it. Callum did have a good laugh and say that he would potentially just turn up with his mobile phone torch on and be like, guys, they all have torches. as his intro to the game. But yeah, so you're taking the lead, Nix, and you
Yes.
start heading into the left, like the anti-clockwise kind of directions of the rings. So as you all kind of pile through, the doors kind of just do the auto kind of hiss and close over thing. Lyko's going to be in the foyer, if you will, just guarding it for the meantime. Oh, excuse me. And you're in what looks like a kind of equivalent of like a clean room. There's a bunch of random kind of components lying around, lots of electronic parts, very generic like circuit board things. Some of it's scattered over tables. There's a couple of plasmoids floating around the room as well. And by floating around the room, I don't mean they're actually moving. I mean they're obviously in the kind of one position, just kind of bobbing and kind of wobbling. All the lights flicker on it, and it's that really bright clinical white light that you've got, kind of reflecting off all the kind of like shiny white plastic surfaces. Very, very clean. Looks like it was well kept, except certain like components are just like scattered over tables and kind of like workbenches and things. And then the lab just goes on for like, I don't know, say 30, 35, 40 feet maybe, and then there's another kind of set of doors at the far side. Again, as I described previously, it's all modular, so you could like slot out parts of labs. But yeah, so that's where you are. And there's some other doors like where you are, left and right, and at the far side, the main door is going forward, and then left and right as well.
Okay.
So what's the plan?
So then the mobile housing unit is further.
Yeah.
Mm.
Definitely. This just seems like a kind of generic, like almost storage or work space. Like a clean room-esque, again. Like the type of place where if you're going to work on microchips to keep it kind of clear of dust and stuff,
Yep.
you would work in this kind of area.
I think at this stage, Nix is probably just marching onwards, fairly set on the task at hand.
Yeah,
Obviously stepping out the way of the plasmoids.
Of course, yep. So, not wanting to interact with them at all.
Not at all.
Is there anything here we can take? This deal? No.
I think the technical term you're looking for, Emmelyn, is repurpose.
For the good of the nation.
Just adopt.
Yeah, these things, we adopt them. They're our things. Depends what, like, would you be looking for anything specific or just filling a bag full of stuff? Because this is the question, is it like Skyrim, other RPs exist also, where you just fill your bag full of brooms and cheese wheels? Or is it that you look at the value versus the weight of everything and you only take the things that weigh the least and are expensive, you know? Depends what you're looking for. I mean, it's a whole bunch of like high-grade electronic stuff in like wall cupboards and like trays and things like that. So yeah, like you could probably sell it on, but not for like a huge amount. Like you'd need to carry like, well, you'd need to pack your ship full of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that would be like worth something to someone.
Yeah. Is there anything like obviously more valuable
I mean,
that I would know? Because obviously this is not necessarily area.
yeah,
feel
like
like-
nothing really. Like I mean, there's like welding equipment and soldering irons and like generic tools. But I mean, yeah, there's nothing really. They all look like properly like chrome finish as well. You know, like they're all. It's definitely the expensive catalog they bought all their tools out of.
It's all big tools and not something you can just.
Yeah, there's nothing what. From your kind of can I make a quick buck eyes, right? There's nothing that you would want to take, if that makes
Okay.
sense. If there had been like, you know, a shiny diamond, you know, that they're using to refract lasers through, you probably would have immediately eyes drawn to that and that, but there's nothing like that you noticed.
Okay.
Okay. You doing anything else in here, or just dodging like the plasmoids?
I'm just dodging.
Yeah, I figured that. Now,
I'm just dodging him as well.
right, so you're heading to what, the far side of the room? Are you going to check out the doors to the left and right as you entered the room, or are you going to head straight to the end and go left or right or straight on? Like, what's the plan?
Is there any obvious signage regarding
No,
what's
like this.
going
This
in?
is like
Yeah.
again, like uncomfortably clinical.
Smooth and clean?
Yeah, like there's no signs at all. I mean, you could perceive, right?
Ah, yes.
Yes, that old dice mechanic that we work with.
Oh no, dice don't like us.
So if you want to type in looking or something equivalent to what you're doing, and then give me a wee perception check, maybe.
There we go.
Do you want all of us to do that?
No, just him. He's at the front.
There's 20.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, let's say you head straight through, you glance over everything, you kind of get the same vibe as I gave Emmelyn. Obviously, Emmelyn's kind of like maybe behind you, kind of looking at the stuff you've discarded visually, being like, yeah, but is it valuable? You know, as she's behind the other two. Maybe Zora's in the middle, like, things go south. I have a shield in front of me and a shield behind me. And then you've got obviously. I know, right? Imagine having Vesk tactics in my brain. And then you've got Nyx at the front. So maybe you walk up, and because you've interacted with the way the station has interacted with you previously, you walk up and there's like a holo panel that appears next to the door. That was obviously the door, like the big double door type airlock seal. And it's just an interface.
Okay. I'd probably look for information on what's kind of in the immediate vicinity. Because Alice just kind of pointed us in this direction, didn't she?
Yeah, she basically said,
Yeah.
go left or go right.
Yep.
Yeah, she was super helpful.
I'd probably look for details on what is in these various labs.
Yeah, there is a like current experiments list, if you will. Dun dun dun. So yeah, you bring up the holo panel, it flickers open and then has the, nice interface. And then as you're flicking through all the files that come up, it just gives you the, this is the lab for this. So this is obviously like the clean room workstation, which is kind of just a generic, if you need something done or the current, lab supervisor doesn't like you, you'll probably be sent there to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Or also if they just need a spare workspace, it's like a free module basically. 2 labs over, there's going to be the OMA project, so it's O.M.A project, and that is the last lab on this ring.
Mm-hmm.
And then it shows you on the other direction, there is only 1 lab the other direction. And it just says project classified.
That's intriguing.
Yeah. As you do that, maybe you go to tap on project classified to see if anything happens. And at that point, as you go to hit the button, the screen flickers off, the lights flicker, and the entire station shudders. Like, things fall out of cupboards. Maybe people get startled, who knows. You maybe hear a random yelp from Lyko if you would indeed do such a thing, which you can't hear because these are sealed rooms. And then, yeah, he maybe you hear over the comms Lyko checking in, like, was that you guys? Or something to the kind of, do I have you to blame for this? I don't know, Colin can fill in all the actual dialogue when he comes back, but I imagine he'd probably check in, be like, so I'm here alone and the place is shaking, hello. So, yeah, how are you reacting?
Next.
Yes, Captain?
Was that us?
I believe that was just more of the same tremors that we've been experiencing.
Makes sense.
It does mean we've lost access to the system for now.
Like, see when you're talking to him, is this over comms, or is it like...
Comms.
And by that I mean, like, anytime I say over comms, I'll assume private comms, unless that you're broadcasting, right?
Yeah.
Which is due to speak to Alice. Okay. So,
I think.
are you...
Yeah.
So you're private
Private.
comming. Yep.
Private.
While you're doing it, are you still staring at where the screen used to be then? Nix, or would you have turned to relay this? Because I just get the impression you've just still been staring at the curiosity of the screen more than the fact that the Vesk is asking for stuff.
Yeah, probably be looking in the direction of the screen and then kind of in the direction of the labs.
Yeah, the reason I ask is because I just feel it's a bit more of a human-y thing to turn in a look at who you're talking to vibe, you know, that kind of weird culture thing of look at who you're talking to. Maybe I mean, given the three races that you are, like, it's probably going to be relevant for each of you because the Vesk probably just grunt at each other, but probably stare each other down to talk to each other, for like a predatorial thing. Lashranta you can just talk to each other through your minds, so does it matter? And then you've got androids that are slightly odd.
Yeah, and I get the feeling Nix would probably, given his interest in various cultures and things, he'd probably do the eye contact and face-to-face stuff quite deliberately in other settings, but when he's on the job,
yeah, like I mean,
kind of more in his robo mode.
And you all have your own niche when it comes to like the team yous have formed. You all serve a purpose. Do you know what I mean? Like you fix broken things. Emmelyn flies the things and it steals the things, and you've got Lyko who shoots and captures the things, and you've got the captain who screams at other things. So, like, you all kind of have your own kind of job. I know you fill more roles, Zora. I know.
I'm just screaming things. I just find it funny because it is so true.
But yeah,
just not the chance to scream it in yet.
You're the figurehead essentially. But yeah, so with that in mind, you're staring at the screen. Can I get perception checks from Emmelyn and from Zora?
Do you want me to type in, or want me to just click it?
No, just go for it.
Oh, I typed
It's
it.
fine. I appreciate that also. Dear God, Zora. Well then.
Oh God, that's a 20.
Right, so maybe this is to do with the fact that you've got dim light vision. So when the lights flickered, it was the first thing you noticed, okay? But Emmelyn, you noticed this as well. Maybe just slightly, say, what's that? Almost a sixth of a second later, given that your difference in scores was 6. So yeah, as Nix, so the camera would be from like Nix's point of view, but from like the wall panel, like you'd see the overlay reversed of the whole like graphic display. You'd see Nix's face through it, and then the kind of like the red bar which says the project classified backwards, and then over his shoulder you see like Zora, and then just kind of in the background you see Emmelyn and the plasmoids around the room, and then you see the finger go to click, and then the screen flickers away. The place shudders and the lights flicker off, and the only thing that you see in the room at that point is really vibrantly pulsing purple and red light coming from the plasmoids as the lights flicker back in enough to kind of almost, if you weren't paying attention you might not have noticed it, but they reacted as soon as all the power had went and the place shuddered. So that's what you used to spot. Nix doesn't because he's staring at a wall. Cinematography, y'all. So yeah, Zora, you snap round straight away and you see, like, let's say the one to the left, because there's one near the left of the lab and one near the right of the lab. The one to the right is like closer to Nix, and the one to the left is further back towards the way you come in. So yeah, you spot the one like obviously in front straight away, and then obviously Olka maybe like 2 seconds later, Emmelyn spots the one at the back as they pulse in the dark. But obviously you maybe only spot them just quickly because obviously you're trying to steady yourself and not fall over as well. The shudder seems pretty powerful as well. But then, given if you trust what Alice said, it's close, the source of them, so yeah.
Should I try to talk to one of them? Is my question to the cap.
I don't know, I'm thinking we shoot them.
Well, when I briefly talked to the one at the start, the first one we saw, I saw a vision of the people running. Maybe I can see something if I touch this one. I know what to expect now, so shouldn't be so painful.
Just kind of grunt and say, well, it's your mind, I guess. Kind of gesture onwards.
Well then, what is the plan?
So just like as before, I think I'll just try to open up the channel between, the brain talk channel.
Mhm.
I
The
think
one
I
near
would say
you, or the one at the front, or like the near Nyx?
I think the one nearest me
Yeah.
is
Okay.
probably the one I'd go for.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
going to ready my gun just to make sure, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
So, Emmelyn, describe how you activate brain talk with it. Do you like put your like fingers up to like the side of the helmet that you're wearing? Put your hand out and like
Yeah,
reach out.
and my antenna vibrate a wee
Yep.
bit.
It's awesome. I have this image obviously of them kind of like vibrating against the top of like the kind of the spacesuit, and it's just like it's kind of cool, like a weird resonance for the audience to see. And then what are you gonna say?
I'm gonna say hello.
Okay. 1 second.
And I suppose because I know there's a person in there, I'd say, "Can you hear me?"
Okay. 1 second. Just tracking my own notes as I go as well. Can I have a will save, please?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, yeah. So, as you brain talk to the orb and you say, hello, and can you hear me? Was that what you said? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me? You get that same sensation you got when you were like when you're in the kind of doorway to the hangar. That kind of like pulse pushing you back, almost like you're trying to run in water. But the water is like, rushing towards you like maybe a river. But you're holding your own this time because you've experienced it before, so you're standing like firm. And again, you're starting to get flashes of like this room that you're in and another room like it, but like the layout's all different, but it looks like a similar kind of module for a lab. And you're hearing another couple of people talk, but it's that muffled dream way of talking where you can't quite make out what they're saying. You just know there's familiar voices speaking. And you get an image of like the lab, you working in the lab, moving things from A to B, like looking at experiments, like typing up like screeds of computer code, etc. Things that don't necessarily make sense because it's all like snippets you're getting, like very brief flashes. There's like a really kind of sudden feeling of panic that rushes over you, and then the lights flicker out and you actually see yourself, Zora, Nyx, and Lyko appear in the lab that this guy's in. He turns round to run, absolute panic stricken, runs for the lab door, which again from this kind of point of view you can kind of see that this is the other side of the door that you're in, if you know what I mean. So it's almost like the next lab block over. And then you see him like slam on the wall, the doors open and it kind of flickers out as you're left kind of drifting as all the light goes into dark, and then you kind of like flicker out of it. However, while you're seeing that, Zora and Nyx, depends if Nyx is even looking or still trying to activate the wall panel again, but while Emmelyn's doing this, Emmelyn's obviously got one hand to her head, one hand outstretched towards the plasmoid, and the pulsing red and purple sparks within are going crazy. Like, they're reacting. You can clearly tell they're reacting to the fact that she's speaking to them. And like the energy's crawling out of like the edges, a bit like the way like the sun ejects like was it prominences, like you're seeing kind of like lashes of these energies like reaching for her almost towards her hand. Is Zora gonna do anything about that?
Well, he's definitely looking restless anyway.
Because you've probably got like about 1 second to react, so it's a case of Do you instinctively react, or do you leave it be?
I think I just shoot. Aye. I think I just go bang.
Cool. So you raise up, and I hope you are marking off ammo for every time you fire. I think there's an ammo tracker as well in the
In the combat tracker.
yeah, in the
I'll
combat
do it
tracker.
in the combat tracker.
Yeah.
Also in the now, cause
And then see during the end of the sessions as well, use that time to update your character sheets if
Yeah,
need
yeah.
be for all the additional stuff that we go through, and just got to do auto update, or at least if they do, I don't know how to. So any of our amazing listeners that know how to work with the StarFinder roleplay, or Roll20 I should say, sheets to make them track ammo for me, thank you. I hope that appears in the comments somewhere. Right, okay, so with that in mind, that all happens regardless. So then, let me just check to make sure there's not been any updated messages. There has not been. Good. All systems are still go. Yeah, so this happens. You reach for the thing, you shoot. Now, I guess there's not really much point. You just probably shoot at the thing. Yeah, it's fine. As you shoot it, the thing violently reacts. All the light immediately pulls straight into the center. The thing pulls into itself, forms the person it used to be, which was like a really terrified looking man in a lab coat. He hits the ground, looks up, and then just says please, as if pleading, and then pops and covers Olka or Emmelyn in goo.
Yay.
As your vision goes to the black faded out, you're woke up by the splashing of goo all over your face and a body. But obviously it's over the faceplate of the sealed environment suits that you're all in. So you're violently woke up by that.
Sorry about that.
Well, I mean,
Remind me to never do that again. Because this is
Will do.
Mm.
That didn't look healthy.
So is it? Yeah, I was going to say, so obviously Zora, from your point of view, you just seen her reach out with her mind, and then instead of wincing in pain herself, you just seen this thing react really vibrant and violently, and then reach for her. You obviously took your pot shots at it, and then the thing popped. As you expect, you saw a person that looked mildly terrified at seeing you guys, went please, and then popped. Obviously from Emmelyn's point of view, she got all that visual I just described.
Yeah, I would ask her what happened, I guess. So
he came from that lab, and I'm pointing at the door that
Nix is near.
standing next to, yeah.
Mhm.
And he was running away from some. Whatever happened was sudden.
Sorry, you keep cutting out. I don't know if it's your sensitivity, but we're losing the end of your sentences.
Oh, sorry, it might be. Is that better?
That's a lot better.
Okay, sorry.
That's
Yeah. So I'm pointing at the door and just going. He came from there, and whatever happened really suddenly.
So you're not mentioning the part where you saw you guys just appear in that lab?
Oh yeah, I'd probably mention that.
I was just curious whether Emmelyn was editing that out deliberately or not. Yeah, we totally didn't appear in that lab, and this is the reason why this guy got terrified and ran out of the lab.
Yeah, no, I would say that. I would describe it.
Okay.
well, to us it just looked like it was, well, don't know, trying to grab you, and I would kind of look at Nix confused. By the way, it didn't look healthy. I had to end it.
Well, thank you for stopping it. I don't know what would happen if it grabbed me.
Just give a nod.
So you adding in the part where you've told them that the...
Yeah.
So, add it in.
I saw us standing here. And then he panicked.
I can't really say I can't cock an eyebrow. I don't really have eyebrows there.
You cock the ridge of your eye socket.
Yes.
An
Confused
ocular
way.
ridge. Amazing.
Goddamn psychics. I guess that's all I would say. I would just say psychics, and I would just kind of shake my head. Like,
Amazing. Well, what's Nick's up to?
I think he's probably pondering what Emmelyn said,
Mm.
trying to work out whether it's more likely to be something kind of psychic and perception wise, or whether it's going to be something more, temporal magic mess.
Mm.
But in any case, hasn't got enough information to work on it now.
Indeed.
So I think at this stage he would suggest, should we head through to the lab that he came from?
would nod. It's our only clue, and it's not even really much of a clue. But
And
Let's
Emmelyn
just
did
go
see
there.
you guys there anyway, so
yeah, so why not? Let's fulfill the prophecy.
this is when Colin turns up and is like, no, let's specifically go not there. Turns out we haven't.
So is it the manual release on the doors again?
It's up to you. I mean, they like
Or is
once
it
you
back
turn
on?
back round, like the hologram panel's still there. So
Then I'd probably ask the others to ready their weapons.
Sort of ready for me.
Because they were running from something.
yeah. So,
So-
like Emmelyn, like when he says, well, they were running from something, as he's asked you to ready the weapons, like you know what they were running from. So are you replying to that, or
No, because I think it's some probably magic bullshit.
Mhm.
So it's not us.
Psychics, man. Psychics.
okay, yeah. So, you're gonna try and open the lab doors, yeah?
Yes,
There is literally buttons that say doors open, doors close.
I open the doors.
Yep. You hear the hiss. You hear like a clunk behind, which is the door locking at the far end. The hiss of like the pressure equalizing, and then this door opens. And then you are welcome to walk through.
I walk through.
There is a plasmoid near the top end of the door, like as you walk in. So you'd all have to like crawl to get underneath it to not touch it.
Okay. Step under it.
Same.
Cool.
Yep, I follow.
Excellent. This is when Lyko, to catch up, just runs through all the doors. Guys! Straight through the middle of it. But yeah. So, you're in this one. Now, Emmelyn, this looks incredibly familiar.
Yeah.
Almost like you just saw it moments ago. But yeah, you just look around, and yeah, there's the lab that you remember seeing at least. This one has kind of like a lot of kind of computer equipment and like mainframe towers, cooling systems. There is like a fairly big blocky black chamber in the center of it all. It could just be like where the actual computer core is housed. Besides that, yeah, it's just what looks like a processing lab where it kind of churns computer data is what you would guess at a glance based on the level of hardware in here for Unix, since you're like the first in really.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, again, that kind of clinical white plastic kind of design everywhere. Obviously there was a Ceylon in that type of material when they built this place. But yeah, what's the plan?
So, did you say there were any doorways out of here?
Yeah, I mean, again, just like before, there's another.
Side.
Yep.
Was this heading in the direction of one of the labs that was listed?
Well, the OMA project
Yep.
is potentially the next room over, right? Based
Right.
on what you read from the panel.
Head over to have a look at that, I think.
What's the other two doing?
I guess I would just be kind of trailing behind Nix. Because computer room, I'm assuming when we get to the place, Alice will be like, "Hello, I've been waiting here for ages, what you did."
Well, you're in a
I
computer
just
room. Like, this is a fairly big
Yeah.
computer room.
I don't know. I'm guessing there's nothing that stands out though. I'm
I
assuming.
mean, why wouldn't Alice be here, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there might be no power. You know.
Well, all the lights and stuff are reacting to you guys, so.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably just follow next.
So next thing you're just going to be beelining for the end, yeah?
Yep.
As for Emmelyn, you know this stuff would cost an absolute fortune. All this tech that's in here. Like, the problem is so that it would take hours to dismantle and remove. Never mind hours again to get it all the way to
Yeah.
the actual, what do you call it? Like ship.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think I'm kind of considering like, oh, maybe I'll come back here one day.
Yeah, like, need some quick
this is
cash.
not the time for that.
Yeah, understandable.
Is there anything I can take as a souvenir?
It depends what you want. There's like a, Universe's Best Dad mug on like one of the desks. So if you want that, yeah.
I might. I feel like Emma in her cockpit should have like
Yeah.
souvenirs from places she's been.
Bearish bobbleheads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just to make it more like her space,
Mm-hmm.
but like kind of where she's come from.
Yep. Perfect. Like if you were looking for something specific, like a specific type of knick-knack, I'm sure I can flavour it to have been in this room. Like if you were looking for like a, Baskerville Research Station pen or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
There probably isn't branded merchandise, but, that idea, if you had something in mind you wanted to lift that isn't a mug.
Just something that's unique to that space station, almost, or like that would have the feel.
Well, that's the thing. There's nothing that would be like the mug doesn't say Baskerville Research Station, right? Because
Yeah.
maybe this place is like off the books. But
Yeah.
there definitely is, like, if you took like the Universe's Best Dad mug, like you specifically are maybe drawn to it because maybe it was that guy you just seen through,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think I'll take it.
yeah, because it's probably something that means something to you, even if it's not necessarily that it means it to you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. That's quite cool. Also, hello, Lyko. Maybe.
Hello.
Excellent.
Greetings.
I'll catch you up in a brief momentous. Okay. So, Emmelyn, you're looking around the room. You pick up. Maybe you're drawn to like the workstation, like absent-mindedly. You look over the desk and you, like, maybe you even open the drawer and put your hand in and lift out the mug, and then just look
Yeah.
at it, and then the camera gets that shot of Universe's Best Dad on the side of it, and then you just pocket it because it's yours, right? So yeah, you take that and then just like absentmindedly close the desk drawer over. Zora, maybe you're kind of like looking over the plasmoid at the doorway, kind of looking up and down the room. I don't know if there's anything specific you want to do in this particular computer kind of hardware room, but
There's probably not much that you would be interested in. Yeah.
cool. Nix, you're up obviously at the far side. I'm assuming you're going to go for the door.
Absolutely.
Yep. It pops up. Restricted access, project OMA, and then it's got like the security credentials screen that everybody's familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
So let's flash all the way back to the point where you were in the T-junction. You picked to go left to go get the mobile housing unit first to appease Alice, which is very nice of you. Lyko chose to stay behind and guard the T-junction just on the off chance either something comes out of the right hand side airlock or the actual way back to the ship gets compromised in some way. So Lyko is currently in that T-junction where the decontamination place was. And let's just go from the part where the left airlock doors close behind you guys as you enter that lab. So Lyko, what would you do? Like, I'd say they've probably taken about maybe 20 minutes, maybe at most 25 minutes at most, just to kind of wander through the labs. In that time, what's happened is 10 minutes in, there is a shudder And I mean, I don't know. I don't think Emmelyn would have screamed at this point. So no, like it just like a big shudder and the lights flickered off again. At this point, in about 10 more minutes time, you're gonna go towards the group. So we'll wait on that. We'll see what happens. Just to try and marry you guys back up nicely.
Okay.
I think I've ad-libbed parts where you probably calmed him and be like, guys, is that you guys? Are you making problems or is everything okay?
Yeah, he probably would have checked when there was a shudder, certainly with the group.
Like, what do you want to say, just so the recording doesn't just have what I would have said for you? Like, so when, like I'd say, the place shook. Alice had vanished after you guys agreed to go left for her. She just kind of smiled and then vanished. And then you guys headed off to the doors left, but you stayed put to almost do the kind of, I'll make sure our exit's secure, blah blah blah.
Okay. Bear with me.
Yes, no, it's fine.
Now, it would probably have been something fairly direct. So let's say something like you probably comment, something like, you guys feel that too, or something like that. Just trying to ascertain that it was the same where they were as where he is.
Right, so this is probably to Zora.
Yeah, it would be probably open just to all of them.
Yep.
But if we were to address one specifically, Zora.
Yeah, as I said to those guys, my assumption is going to be when you comm each other without specifying, it'll be private comms, and you will state when you are broadcasting so Alice can hear. Is what I'm going to assume, because I think that's the safest assumption.
Okay.
So yeah, you've calmed the team, you've asked them if it's the same where they are. At this point, guys, yous are at the shudder, etc. When all the lights flickered out, and you've noticed the plasma orb things. So, what are you replying to him in that moment, Zora? Or whoever decides to reply to him?
I would probably say, yeah, the plasmoids like they're getting a little bit crazy.
Don't know if Lyko replies to that or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would
Like,
just.
you don't necessarily need to reply. That can be it. Like, I mean.
Yeah. I mean, if he did, it would just be something very direct, like just an acknowledgement.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, I don't know that he would. So let's see he doesn't. Let's settle in. He doesn't reply.
Excellent. Then we'll move forward back into the present time.
Captain wanted one. He would have asked.
Yes, that's it. Not gonna go, a mile when they only asked for an inch. So. Yeah, so we fast forward back up to the present timeline where you guys were in the room thieving things, eyeing up the situation, and obviously trying to open a door. By that point, it's been another 10 minutes, Lyko. And there's been no communication, I guess, within that 10 minutes. There's also nothing else that's happened. Nothing's happened with that other open doorway to the right. The back kind of locks that are like behind you, like the doors, the kind of decontamination kind of doors, are all still there. Like nothing's unusual. And I don't mean like so normal it's weird. I just mean nothing's crazy. So if you wanted to start catching up with them all the way to the left, feel free to. Or like space yourself, whatever. I don't know.
I don't. Unless something had changed, I don't think he would move.
Sure.
But if you guys want to come in and ask for a report or something like that, and in the process say head our way, then he'll probably just be happy enough. I'd
probably like to probably just retroactively say when you come in, probably just say you should probably catch up to us. They're now probably shouldn't be split up.
But that was earlier.
Yeah.
So, okay, well.
Yeah, that's fine. That can be earlier as well if need be.
Okay.
You could still have waited for 10 minutes if you wanted to, though.
See, that just seems a bit weird. Well, if he said at the time, then I would head at the time.
Maybe after the shenanigans with Emmelyn or something, because that would be a wee bit later. Because that was after the shuttles and the.
Well, the thing is, he'd still have to get in the door.
True.
And it is Lyko. So yeah. Now, obviously the door sealed when you guys were in that place, and then you've moved on somewhere else, and those doors sealed behind you as well. So, yeah, Lyko, you're in the you head through the first left door, if you will.
Okay.
You walk in. It's the kind of double airlock thing. Slides open. You walk in. Everything's clinical white except to the left of you. There's a massive goo splatter, where clearly you can tell once there was a plasmid. Beyond that, there's another one at the top right corner of the room. The room's about 40 feet long, maybe. Slightly curved. Very white plastic shininess everywhere, like an Apple store. And yeah, you can see that there's another airlock at the far side. Kind of just looks like a workstation kind of space, if you will, like a kind of multi-purpose. If you needed to go do stuff, you'd come here. It was clean room quality until a goo pop. So yeah, but yeah, you walk in. If you kind of head into the room towards the far side of where the other double doors are, the doors behind you just close over automatically, as per airlock style stuff.
I would head towards the doors.
Yep. There is doors left and right of each of these big airlocks, as in left and right going off to the left and right. The same at the far side as well, where there's the airlock doors and doors going off to left and right.
What did they say specifically? About the route? Did they say we're going? Because I don't think I know that much about the map. For one thing,
the most
any of us feel
obvious way looks like the big airlock doors, because they're big and obvious, and the place is designed obviously a tiny part of a huge circle. But they never mentioned anything about those doors to you, I don't think. The side doors at all. And the side doors are quite small and mechanical. They don't look automatic in any way. They look like you actually have to manually move them.
And given the amount of time it took, I would probably assume they wouldn't have fused them then.
Mm-hmm. And there's also gooey footprints that lead off towards there.
That would probably give it away a bit. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I will head that way, following the gooey footprints.
Yep. Look about, Emmelyn size, So, as you get up to the door, obviously the doors go whoosh and open, and you see maybe Emmelyn, maybe you're walking back to the other two that are waiting at the door, as Nyx has brought up the kind of the holographic panel at the door and is interfacing with it. So Lyko, yeah, you walk into this current lab. The lab's got loads of cooling towers and racks of mainframe computers and workstations, and it mostly looks like a kind of data processing or just computer core room. There's coolant vents spraying out, obviously vapor and stuff. I just the vapory kind of standard sci-fi scene dressing, I mean, Emmelyn looks like she's just been zipping up her backpack, and you've got Nyx with his back to you at the far side of the room, with the holographic door interface loaded up. So, Nyx, or in fact, Lyko, are you making an entrance, or are you just walking in?
No, I walk in silently, and
one thing I need to mention: as soon as the doors open, you're faced with a plasmoid. You have to crawl under it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, do I have to do a check to crawl under it?
No, you just need to.
No, it's easy enough to crawl.
It depends. Would you have been doing that? Well, I'm here, whoa, and then have to matrix your way under it, some kind of what's it called, limbo?
No, I don't think he's taking. I don't think he's taking anything. Rather, I meant to say, I think he is sort of at a casual pace. I don't think he was bolting it through the doors.
Yeah.
So he's not going to have to pull any gymnastics to stop in time.
Good.
He's probably just going to, stop for a beat when he sees it, in a sort of wasn't expecting one of them for some reason.
As you kind of do that thing where your eyes kind of focus on it, the thing pulses with red and purple very briefly. The equivalent of a nod, you could say.
Yes, I nod at it.
It doesn't react. That's it.
He didn't expect it to, but
Yeah. And then you have all the people on the forums go, but was it acknowledging him or was it just timing?
That is indeed a question. So I suppose who's closest to me? Was it?
It depends. Zora or Emmelyn, probably.
Let's
say Zora.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't address it to anyone specifically. Anyway, actually, I'd say sort of just to the ether. Okay. Let's think. Sorry, I'm having trouble getting into character today.
That's fine.
So, do you need me in the other side of this thing, or?
Ideally, I would come back.
Now, Emmelyn, when you were telling them, it was over the private comms to everybody, right?
Yeah.
So do you want to reiterate your private comms message briefly so that Lyko knows what he heard over the comm?
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. So the scene
I
was,
assume-
I'll address the scene up again. So they went into the first lab. There was the two plasmoid things, one near the bottom left, one near the top right, and then Nyx was interfacing with the computer panel, looking at, down here, 2 labs over is probably something called the OMA project. And
Yeah.
back the other way, there's only 1 lab, and it's a classified project. And back the other way is the direction Alice said the shutters were coming from. So that's the thing. Then Emmelyn decided to talk to the one of the plasmoids again, because obviously she's done it before. She's had practice. She's had a good a couple of hours or so trying to navigate through a space station to calm down a bit, and then I was gonna talk to it in the head. Go for it, Emmelyn.
Yeah, so I tried to have a chat with the thing, and it gave me an image of a man in a lab coat in the next lab over, just working away.
Well, the one you're in
And
now,
then-
technically.
Yeah, well, yeah. And he saw us standing there, the 3 of us, and he panicked and he started running out of the lab. Is I believe what I saw.
But
Okay.
it was the 4 of you. All of you were there.
All right, okay, yeah.
So yeah, she brain talked to it. Was a man in a lab, typing on computer stuff, doing a daily kind of routine computer nonsense, sci-fi stuff. And then you 4 appear in the lab. And then he freaks out, obviously, like waves of panic flush over Emmelyn in her vision. And then the guy bolts for the door, and then her vision cuts out when the door's open.
Out of character, I wonder if he sees us as orbs. I would say that in character, it just isn't the right moment to say it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Had I been there, I would have responded to her message with that. We can retcon in that I did then. Okay, if it's acknowledged that I've got to be on the other side, then I'll happily scoosh under the thing. Scoosh here meaning like squeeze, not scoosh as in like
Scoosh. Yeah.
squirt, because that would be weird. And so yeah, I will
Moving spemply on.
under words.
Oh dear. And this is for Callum right now, if you decide to listen, is Synenema. And that's for you, based on our Sunday conversation. Sunday being appropriate. So anyway, yeah. So you scoosh under, as the technical term is.
Should be.
Yep. Scoosh it are thee. And then you enter the room. The first person you probably bump into, maybe like, I don't know, Zora's probably pacing up and down, I imagine. And Emmelyn's just thieved a cup from someone's drawer. So, yeah.
Klepto.
But like, I still like the scene of her kind of like casually just walking to like what might have been her workstation, opens a drawer, looks at the universe's greatest dad mug, just takes it. I just like that as a scene.
It is now my mug.
Yeah,
I
like
will
it's.
drink from this mug.
I was gonna say it's totally the mug that when we kind of open the shot of the show and you're in the cockpit and you're totally swigging from it. It's I like it. So anyway, so you're all in the room basically. Nyx 5.
Yes.
I've been trying to get to you for about 5 conversations there. You've got the security credentials screen up. This lab seems to require some kind of access rights.
Maybe I can find a way of obtaining access rights.
Maybe
I think
you can.
at this stage Nyx will try hacking through that then.
So, Zora, you notice that Nyx isn't just opening this door for you now. So there seems to be some kind of resistance.
Okay.
I just mean mostly that that's now unusual since she's been able to walk through every door since. So would it be something you comment on as a group going, what's the hold up? You know, various things like that.
I would assume it's just less power going to the station or something. So I don't know if I would comment on
Well,
it.
this place looks like it's drawing a lot of power. Like,
Oh,
as I said, there's a lot. I believe the technical term is fuck tons of computer equipment in this particular lab section.
I don't know. I would probably just kind of like make me grunt when I'm trying to do it. I would just kind of, I don't know.
Trying to do what?
Not really. I wouldn't really say it about them. I don't think.
Yeah, so you just wait for next to. Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, next, what's the plan?
I will try to hack my way through the system.
Cool.
Okay. Will that be a computer roll?
Hack the planet, and then let's see what we get.
Nothing will go wrong. Everything will go wrong.
So, as you're got the kind of red, kind of like green hologram thing appears to the door interface. The bottom half of it's all red, like "Are you human? Tick here." You know, prove you're not a robot, and you go, "Damn it!" The one
Defeated
thing I
again.
can't pass.
Half pass it.
Yeah, it's fine. You get half of the pictures of the bridge. You just missed all the ones with the bus stops in the way. So, sorry to all of our robot audience, by the way, that's a really racist joke, I'm sorry. So, oh dear. And just future proofing for the AI uprising, that's all.
See, the YouTube algorithm will not be kind to us.
No, it will not be. But we hope for leniency, mercy, and prosperity. So, as you're trying, obviously, open up, you just don't seem to have the right, I guess, privileges to access the parts you would need. It's almost like if you need access to the BIOS of a computer to make the changes you need to get rid of the ugly UI that stops you accessing it, like you're basically going to delete the password requirement. You don't have access to the section that you would need to. It's almost as if like the interface is air gapped, but then you're wondering how that interacts with the system. So there's something not quite right about this interface, or at least that's what you have decided. That
Yes.
something's a bit jank, obviously, because you would totally be able to have opened the door. So yeah, that happens.
In which case, I'd probably go on open comms and call out to Alice.
So
Should kind of just say Alice.
and there's like maybe 10 seconds of like weird silence, so everybody hears like Alice spoken aloud in the room over open comms for a change, and then yeah, there's like 10 seconds of everybody just kind of stopped on the spot looking at each other, and then the camera does that thing where it just pans slightly over so it reveals that she's standing behind you. And then, like, you can see, like, that she taps on your shoulder, but obviously you don't feel this because she's a hologram. So she's kind of tapping on the shoulder, and then eventually you turn around. Or maybe say Zora or Lyko or someone notices that she's now behind you and points it out.
Alice, can you give us access to these systems?
Yes and no, and then points a finger at you.
Would you please? You said you trusted us.
And then she kind of just looks a bit confused and like scrunches up her kind of a nose a bit, and then she kind of like looks back at you and is like, "It's not a matter of trust." And then she's like, "What do you need?"
Ideally access to the root system.
And she kind of like looks around and she's like, "I don't think I've ever been in this room before." And then kind of like looks up and down. And then you can see her like she's genuinely like, you don't really even need to make a roll. She's not particularly trying to hide her like kind of amazement, you know. Like normally you'd need to roll the kind of sense motives or insight type checks to kind of gauge what she's like, but she's genuinely like, "Huh, there's a lot going on in here." And she's taking it all in. A bit like, you know, when you take a kid into a toy store and you're like, "Oh my god, everything around them." And And then you can just see her, like, her eyes are really fixed on like that big black kind of core tower in the center of the room as well. And she's just kind of taking everything in. So you've kind of lost her attention.
What does the core tower look like?
Just like a big kind of squarish black block, and
Mhm.
there's bits of it that go in into dents and other square black blocks, and but it's a big column essentially. Loads of cables feeding into the floor, loads of cables feeding into the ceiling. Like there's coolant strapped all over it, and by that I just mean like there's pipes running all the way down it as if it's got its own kind of weird kind of cage of coolant.
Alice, do you know what this room is?
She's kind of like still looking around, and you see her just start to like flicker to the other side of the room, and she's like looking at the kind of column from the other side. She's like, well, if I had to guess, I have no idea because I'm not programmed to guess. And then she just starts, like, she's still staring at like the ceiling, and then like goes up really close to the column, and then she's looking at it, and then yeah, you've kind of lost her attention kind of again.
I might go along and play her games then. Is there an interface for in the rest of the room for the column?
There's workstations, yeah.
Might go up to one of the workstations and see if we can get access.
Cool, yep. It comes up in our security credentials.
Can I try again on that?
Yeah, carry on.
Workstation.
So you go up to it, and you start typing in, and obviously the first attempt's like no, and then obviously this one is like a kind of private workstation, if you will,
Yeah.
on someone's desk, so you can sit down, and then you get access to like all the systems that you need that weren't linked to the door panel, and then yeah, you start getting access that way, and you bring up, and it boots up with their bam 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 kind of computer noise or whatever. With in the background, it's obviously do your job. Is there like screensaver?
Motivational.
Oh yeah.
Probably look up what the most recent work done was.
Yeah. Like it's a really simplistic kind of desktop that you're looking at. It's obviously like a kind of fancy hollow screen. So there's no physical screen there. It just projects up from the desk. And yeah, the actual interface pretty much only has the ability to start like pouring through code. So the only thing you access is the code reader, and it brings it up, and it just looks like what's the best way to think? Like, make a computer's check for me. And this is to try and understand something about what you're looking at.
Let's see if we can roll better this time.
There you go.
Not-
It's not bad. So
Yeah.
with that roll, you're looking through it, and this looks like a kind of user interface program.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally like screeds of code to translate obviously a user's input into code, and like essentially like interpretable by machines. So almost like a really, really fancy, like, say all the computer systems you've been using have been intuitive when you walk up to them and they project on, and then as you gesture into them, they all react. It's like a super complex version of that. Like if those were a BBC computer back in the day, feel free to Google this, all you young people out there. This is
Not just the young people.
and also the old people. This is the equivalent of like the latest generation of smartphone coding, by comparison to like a BBC computer. So, yeah, that's the level of complexity difference.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like this one lab was working on a specific piece of code. I think by this point, like the camera does that kind of zoom out past like your face through the holographic screen, and you just see Alice looking over your shoulder.
Hello?
You cut out there?
Did I cut
Yes,
out?
he has.
No?
Yeah.
You did. Yep.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Yes.
Good. What I said was, the camera does that thing where it's looking at, like, Nick's 5's eyes, kind of scanning every line, kind of working it out without actually saying anything to anyone. And then there's the camera pull out where it pulls through the holographic screen so that it flickers and you get the kind of green holo display. And then you see Alice looking over your shoulder at the screen. And that's when the audience see her as well.
Mm. Alice, do you know what this is?
I think as you say that, she kind of goes, oh! And then like stands up. And like goes to lean on you, so it kind of projects like where she thinks your shoulder would be. And then kind of leans, goes, oh, you scared me there. And like our other hand on her hip, as if, oh boy. Obviously, if you move, she's still technically leaning on where she assessed your shoulder to be.
I'd repeat my previous question. Alice, do you know what this is?
Yeah, and then she goes, it looks like a kind of user interface program.
Thank you. Can we return to my previous issues?
And she
Can you
kind of
give
looks
us
at you,
access?
and then like her eyes go wide and her neck goes back slightly. And she's like, sorry, I'm not a therapist. And puts both of her hands up kind of like apologetically. She's like, and then she starts like tapping her finger against her lips and she goes, I could totally be a therapist.
I don't think that's wise, Alice. But you're a security professional.
She like salutes. Just like snaps her like heels together.
Can you open that door, please?
Clicks her fingers and the door opens. And then she kind of looks shocked as she does that, as if she wasn't expecting it to happen. And she kind of turns, and then like you just hear the hiss of the door, and then all the kind of like steam and air like rushes into the room, and then it flickers, and the entire station shudders, like way more violently than it ever did before. So the whole thing rattles, like it does that really unhealthy metal creaking sound, which obviously, you know, I think in any kind of ship or submarine movie, you'd hear that and everybody would have close face zooms with the camera.
I'm going to comment
So,
in open comms and say, in my experience, that's a bad sign.
and we'll probably take a break there, because I think that's a good place to take a break. And just want to come back in 10 minutes.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you everybody that's listened so far. Come back for part 2. Goodbye.
See you soon, Nick.
Goodbye.